So this is Baruch Fleischman. I'm here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. I want to learn a little serious Zohar here on Parshas MISHPATIM. So MISHPATIM means judgments, or what we call it dinim in Hebrew. This is the Zohar. I just want to point out that it's a pirush that we're going to be reading now on the Matok Medavash, which means sweeter than honey, and it's written by a person, a rabbi named Rabbi Daniel Frisch, who had a miraculous recovery from typhus when people were dying around him. It wasn't just the Holocaust, but the effects of having been in death camps, that those who survived them often died later of different things. One of them was typhus. It's a very contagious disease. I guess it comes from living in an environment which is really filthy. So here he was on with a group of other people from his town who survived also, going back to their hometown in the Carpathos, someplace deep in Hungary, Romania. And when they got there, they found out that the Gentiles there didn't want them back, and there were pogroms. People were killed. And they had to get on the train and go back to where they came from. Rabbi Frisch eventually found his way to Eretz Yisrael, where he found a wife who was suitable for what he wanted to do. Because in his hometown, where he came from, the Rav in that town was a Mekubal. There's a different levels of understanding Kabbalah, and he wanted, because of the miracle that took place, or I don't know why, but and all that he lived through, what he saw, meant that he needed to sweeten up his life, and that's really what the study of the Zohar is about. And so therefore he wrote this pirush, which is called Matok Medavash, sweeter than honey. He spent his life in many days in Meron, learning from the greatest Torah scholars that came to those places, and this is the product of his work. And in fact, it is said, it is said that on the day that he completed his explanation is the day that he died. So he dedicated his life to something that we're able to do here. It's absolutely amazing, the sacrifice that he went through. Now, let's go over to our subject. And I think we're on the third shir in this little bit that we're doing on Parshas MISHPATIM. So we're going to read the Zohar on the top, and we're going to come down below to read the pirush of Rabbi Frisch. So he says, Im hi misitra dahaku eved mitat. Now this is really getting into deep stuff. If the person comes from the Olam of Yetzira, the nefesh of the person is coming from that level, and that level is a channel of light that goes up and down, controlled by an angel whose name, as we pronounce it, Metat. We don't say the last part. The Kalu Shis Sitrim, and this Metat has 6 different corners. Kasiv Be Sheish Shanim Ya'avod. So there, let's look over here now. He says that the pasuk says that 6 years you shall serve. Gilgulim dilo lo mischai v'ela shis shenin. The Gilgul, the coming back into the world again. A person is only obligated to come back into the world only for 6 times, 6 shenin, 6 changes. Ad ashlimas sheish dargin mehachu aser deis netilos. Until he completes the different levels he needs to go through. Well, I'm not sure what this means. Mehachu aser is netilos, from that place in which he was taken. So I'm not sure exactly what all of that means. And so Baruch Hashem, we have Rabbi Daniel Frisch to come to our aid and give us a little idea. Now, Rabbi Frisch became a real expert in the Ariya Kodesh. Of course, you have to be in order to be able to understand the Zohar. So Omar ki im hi misitra dahaku evet. Im neshama zu hi mitzad evet ahusha ba'olam yetzira. It is the evet. Now, Matat, that angel, is called the evet. I'm not sure why, but I'm looking for the answer to that. Why is he called a slave, a servant? So he's saying like this: when you buy a Hebrew servant, he serves you 6 years. He says, who's the servant? The servant doesn't mean only a person. It means something in the world of Yetzira, the world of formation, the world beyond this physicality. He said, "V'hushuhu malach metat, hanikra eved ivri the malchus d'Atzilus." This is the eved, the eved ivri, the Hebrew slave who serves the malchus of Atzilus. Now, what is his service? Maybe we're going to find out here, and I'll be able to get a good answer to my question about what's going on in this Olam Yetzira. Now, what can I say? Some background on this that I know is that Yetzira really represents the name Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, the manifestation of that name, which is the masculine force. So it represents that. So here you are in the area of the masculine force, which wants to mate with the female force. That's its natural function. The Ihu Kolol Shis Sitrin, that it has within it 6 different, Sitrin means sides. Shu Kolol Shesh Kitzvais, is that what we call the 6 corners. Shehem Klalos Olam Yetzira, which incorporated all of Olam Yetzira, which are the spheros of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Rabbi Frisch writes of the fi shuhu bechinas zer anpen hakol vok. This is the aspect of what Kabbalists call zer anpen. V'hamv'chana shenishama zu nimshukol ha'adam bezivug ha'na'asav b'mos ha'chol. So he says something else that it needs introduction, but here it is. He says v'hainu. So what level of soul is produced by Yichud in the afternoon? V'hainu, the neshama zu nimshukach ha'adam bezivug ha'na'asav b'mos ha'chol. That takes, no, he doesn't say in the afternoon. He says in the weekday. Because during the weekdays, yichud that takes place during the weekdays can only bring, listen to the idea, the whole idea here of what he's saying. He says that there are different times that the yichud that takes place between a man and a woman. When conception takes place, the time that it takes place is important to the level of the soul, the level of clarity of the soul. And this, in this case, when it takes place during the weekday, which is the 6 days of the week, and there you have the number 6. In 6 days of the week, you only can deal with the lower worlds, with the lower worlds of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. So the neshama will come from there if it's a yichud that takes place during the weekday. So it's kasiv be ben neshama kazu. So the neshama that's like this, it's written sheish shana mi'avot rotzalomer. What does this mean? Gilgulim dilaw, your reincarnation, your steps coming back. Gilgulim or Gilgulim shehid tzricha lehisgalgu kadei lesaken avonosecho. These are different returns, cycles coming back into the world, being born into a new body. Shehid tzricha lehisgalgu, that it has to roll. Gilgul is also a concept of rolling, right? Rolling around. It rolls back in kadei lesaken avonosecho in order to make a tikkun, to get a tikkun for his soul. Lo mischayvach ve'ela shish shenin, it only will be obligated that person for 6 years. Ene mischayev v'chem ela ad sheish pamim. You only have to come back into this world 5 different times. The word shinui has many different meanings in Hebrew, and it could mean years, and it could also mean changes, other different kinds of things like that. So 6 times you exchange, you come back again. Behind the im belows is saken begilgul rishon, that if you haven't been able to correct your behavior, that behavior that keeps the neshama from becoming complete with its creator. So for the gilgul rishon, tis gagol ad sheisham, and you can come back 6 times. This is what the secret of this parsha is. Ad the ishalimas sheish darkim mahachu asad is natilas, and the Malta translates ad shemishalemes misakenes, until it completes and rebuilds. Sheish and Bedregas, the 6 different levels shall osachamakom of that particular place, shall nilkacho the place that it was that it was taken from, that was carved out from. Now this is a working of carbon. I really don't know that much about it, but this was chotzev is used a lot to talk about that. Apparently, you have to carve not you have to, but the souls are carved out. Now, carved out of what? Carved out, so to speak, of a place where the light of the Ein Sof accumulates, I guess, something like that. So, of Benechtzava Misham, Shehem Haichlos Shal Olam Hayetzira, which are the palaces, the chambers, the royal chambers of the Olam Hayetzira, Sod Sheish Sfiras Chagadnai. You have to know a little Kabbalah to understand the Chesed Gevur Tiferes Netzachod Yesod. That is their anpen. That's the basis. Their anpen. He is 6 spheros. Ki Chesed Mislavish Behechel Ava, Gevura Mislavish Behechel Zechus. So he's talking about this Ava and Zechus. We'll go on to this, all 6 of them. As is that there are different places where different energies, the energy of Chesed, the energy of Gevura, lodge in Olam Hayetzira. So he said, Tiferes, Mislavish Behechel Ratzon, called the Hechel Ratzon. Netzav Mislavish Behechel Noga. Hod Mislavish Behechel Etzem Hashemayim. Yisod Mislavish Behechel Livnus Asaber V'Chamamalchus Nechlelis, and Malchus is also called that. This is a whole piece of Torah. You could ponder on that. So Shebe'elach Avachabavok Mushrashus Kol HaMitzvahs, because in these six midos, these 6 character traits, which he is defining them inside of a palace or a royal chamber, meaning that there is a kli, there's a vessel in which these lights are held. In these 6 places, Chesed Gevura, Tiferes, which is balance and beauty, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, those 6, those are the places all the mitzvahs come from. Ki mitzvahs asay besod hayomim hein bechesed. So the right side, which is called Chachma, Chesed, or what's called Chen, Chesed and Netzach, and the left side, which is called I guess you would say you would call it Gevura and Hod on the left side. So mitzvahs lo sa'aseh besod, the small on the left side, which is as I said, Gevura and Hod. V'chatiferes, which is in the middle, Torah Kula, really combines both of those ideas. The Naim Tanakh, and the Naim really refers to the Torah, Nevi, and Kesuvim. So all of the mitzvahs, he's saying, and all of our Torah comes from this. V'kasev v'daber im haguf, the pasuk is really talking about the body. V'omer lo, and it's saying to the body, ki sikna ata, ki sikna, when you acquire, ata haguf, in other words, shit, heavy thing. The ata, the you, is really the spirit inside of you, he says. Ki sikna, when you acquire this, in other words, your neshama precedes the guf. You acquire a body. This is talking about a Gilgal, coming back into a new body. And all of us that are listening to these shiurim have some sense of the fact that this circle, that we're involved in it. And we have something that we're striving for. Ki sikna, when you fix it, ata haguf, now you're back in the body again. Eved Ivri, your slave, a Hebrew slave. Hainu, Neshama Ma'olam Hayetzira. This is talking about the world of the slaves. The world of the slave is the world of Yetzira. Hayetzira Hanikra Eved, which is called the slave. The slave is this Malach, which is called Matan. Still trying to understand Matan. Because it's so to speak that Matat represents the Yetzira of Yetzira. Is that possible to say that? It's the Zer Anpin of the Zer Anpin of the 6 kitzvahs of the 6 kitzvahs. It precedes its manifestation. That's what I think to say. And as a result of that, it's in communicating with both the manifestation, which is Olam Yetzira, and the worlds that are beyond it are more deeply closer to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So he said, "B'sheish shanim ya'avod." So you should serve this for 6 years. Pirish, the shamazu. We're talking about this aspect of godliness, which is carved out of the place of souls, so to speak. Ki neshamazu yichol his goggle, that it's able to return again, to roll back down into this world, ad sheish pamim, until it reaches the count of 6 times. So that means if it doesn't really be able to correct itself, that's so what's the soul doing? The soul is working on your body, because your body born into this world, the soul precedes the body, but the body is dense. Our bodies have needs. We have to eat 3, 4, 5 times a day, whatever it is, however we eat. We have to continue eat and drink. We have to keep ourselves going. We have to find food. Find a job, etc. So he said, "Ad sheish pamim im lo zachlo lehistakein b'pam rishon." He has to come back 6 different times. But tzricha la'avor shivud malacha v'yisurim. And the person, once again, when you get into this world, look at the world. Tzricha la'avor, you have to pass through it. Shivud malacha, be indentured to work. It doesn't make any difference if you're an indentured slave and you don't get pay and you have to work, or you have to work. That's a part of slavery too, because you can't stop it. If you do, you stop eating. So you're indentured to that lifestyle. The Yisurim v'Taloim, you get all of these, the punishments, the pains that are in this world, the Chaloim and sicknesses, the Dalos and poverty. V'tilta v'taruf, and you have to carry, you have to move v'taruf b'zecha oilim. So ultimately, you get banged around, you get torn up in this world. Kedei l'saken v'secha, and this is all in order to be able to make a tikkun in those sins. This is Baruch Fleischman. This is a tikkun elevator kolo. I'm not sure. I think this is the third shir here. In Parshat B'Shalach.